Hello, and thanks for tuning in for this week's message. Sunday marked the official beginning of summer, and with school now closed and more things opening, people are beginning to move around and get out. Increased activity and interaction is why we can't stop pushing to ensure that more people get vaccinated. Our COVID numbers continue to remain low, and 78% of our eligible population, those who are 12 and older, are vaccinated. We continue to bring the vaccine to people all over the county, including at this past Saturday's Juneteenth celebration at Black Rock. While we have good numbers, it is important to vaccinate as many people as possible, because as long as it's being transmitted, it presents another opportunity for the virus to mutate. The Delta strain is now becoming the dominant strain, and it's more infectious, but fortunately it remains susceptible to the vaccines. Our worst fear is that one of the mutations might open a pathway around the vaccines, and we are doing everything we can do to stop that, which is why everyone getting vaccinated is so important. If you know people have not been vaccinated, let them know that they can and should join the over 77% of county residents who are already vaccinated and get their shot. The vaccine is safe, easy to get, and free. Last week, the National Capital Region Transportation Planning Board voted to remove from its long-range plan the proposal from the state to widen 270 and install 4 toll lanes. I asked that the current plan be removed and that the state work with us, as they had been doing, on a solution that makes more sense. This request was supported by jurisdictions around the region because they understood that we need a solution that actually works. I support addressing congestion on the Beltway 270 and most importantly on the American Legion Bridge, since this is where the bottleneck starts. And I support the Council's proposals over the last decade that the state address I-270 with 2 reversible lanes. These lanes would run north to south in the morning during the horrible rush hour, and then run from the south to north in the evening when the heavy congestion shifts northbound. The truth is that for most of the day, no one would gain anything by paying tolls in non-peak directions. This plan makes maximum use of 2 lanes and would generate equivalent revenue while building only half the lanes. Additionally, the current plan stops at the ICC, leaving our county without relief north of the ICC and onto Frederick. We seek a comprehensive solution that is both effective and physically responsible. And we have suggested the state seek federal funding for the bridge, since it's an aging structure that connects 2 interstates, 270 and 95, and needs major repairs in the not too distant future. Saddling drivers for the entire cost of this without even trying to get federal funding really doesn't seem to be physically responsible. And we need a robust transit network as part of an integral part of this plan. It can't simply be a road plan. The current plan does not solve the bottlenecks on 270. It simply moves the location at great expense. We have a federal government that's made it clear that they have a commitment to infrastructure, and we need to work with them to get the bridge and the road capacity we need. This week, I unveiled my climate action plan. This is a big deal. This is the culmination of a tremendous amount of work by an enormous number of community residents and county staff. This plan will guide the county toward its goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2027 and 100% by 2035 compared to the 2005 levels. It is the most ambitious and bold plan of any local government in the nation, and it is designed to increase resiliency in the face of climate hazards. The plan outlines 86 climate actions built on the work of more than 200 volunteer members of the climate technical work groups, and reflects input from a wide variety of community groups and the general public. I want to thank this group for their efforts and for getting us to this point in this project. The unveiling of the plan makes Montgomery County a model for other jurisdictions and provides an opportunity for us to build a healthy, equitable, and resilient community for the future. We must take big, bold steps, and this plan is filled with activities that will help us reach our goals. Collectively, communities across the state of Maryland and the country, and frankly the world, must address climate change at a scale that is necessary to curb the cataclysmic social, environmental, and economic impacts of climate change. No doubt the plan will have costs, but the cost of doing nothing will even be greater, as the problems presented by climate change will be far greater to deal with than the cost of minimizing the impact now. If COVID hadn't completely dominated most of the space in the news cycle, the rapidly deteriorating climate and the worsening projections for the negative impacts of climate change likely coming to a neighborhood near you would have dominated the news cycle over the past 15 months. We need to bring the same kind of awareness to fighting climate change as we brought to fighting COVID. One of the consistent messages we brought to the COVID battle was that the spread of COVID was ultimately and completely controllable by us, particularly during the period of no vaccines. COVID was a people-to-people problem, and it was our interactions, our decisions that made it possible for the virus to spread or made it impossible. From my youth, I remember a similar thing brought to us by this cute little bear, and his message was, only you can prevent forest fires. So last year we could only control the spread of COVID. Now it's time to face the reality that only we can end climate change. It will not change and will not end without our actions, whether they're individual decisions, business decisions, or government decisions. We either fight change and persevere, and our reward will be leaving a better planet to future generations, or we can do nothing, hope it goes away, and ignore this horrible mess that we've made of our planet. Throughout the summer and into the fall, the climate team will host community conversations to present the plan to residents, businesses, and property owners. I urge everyone to get involved and help us address climate change as a community. I look forward to working with you on this and other important issues. Thank you, and see you again next week.